And right now, we begin with a live look at the Allen County Courthouse this afternoon, where another hearing is underway about the Delphi murders case. Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. It's been a busy day full of legal battles in the Delphi murders case leading up to this trial that's set for May. Most of the focus, though, is not dealing with whether Richard Allen is responsible for the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German.
Well, today, the judge did agree to add 2 more charges against Allen. This afternoon, senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel is in Fort Wayne to explain what's happening now.
The hearing has now shifted to whether Richard Allen's defense team should be held in contempt for their role in leaked crime scene photos and also for allegedly speaking about the case despite a gag order. Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rozzzi are trying to defend themselves against those contempt allegations, and Richard Allen is here in court today to hear the testimony. This morning, prosecutor Nick McLeland called 3 witnesses, all of them investigators working for Carroll County or Indiana State Police. They testified they traced a leak of crime scene photos to a friend of attorney Andrew Baldwin. That friend has admitted in court documents to essentially stealing the photos by taking pictures of them and disseminating them without the knowledge of Baldwin or Rozzzi. And that friend has since been charged criminally. But the prosecutor says Baldwin also shared information with that friend about the murder case that he should not have because of a gag order that's been in place since December. He says those factors combined are grounds for contempt. This afternoon, an attorney representing the defense attorneys explained why the actions of Baldwin and Rozzzi do not rise to the level of contempt and why there should be no discipline taken against the defense team. Now, the judge repeatedly ruled against the defense, many of their motions and many of their requests, at times snapping at them in some very tense exchanges. But at this point, she has not ruled whether they will be held in contempt. She's giving both sides a chance to submit some written closing arguments, so to speak. So we expect her decision to come sometime in April. What's happening right now is essentially an extra hearing that we were not expecting today. It is going to be a hearing that's taking place right now on whether to dismiss the charges against Richard Allen. His defense team says the charges should be dismissed because they claim the state has been withholding evidence that could be helpful to Allen and his defense. We will have more on that and those tense exchanges I was telling you about. All that coming up on 13 News at 5 and 6. In Fort Wayne, Bob Siegel, 13 News.
All right, Bob, thank you. We are now joined by legal expert Katie Jackson-Lindsay to break down what today's hearings mean for the future of this case. First of all, let's talk about this contempt issue. What does the prosecutor have to prove here?
So the prosecutor has to show that there was willful and intentional disobedience on the part of the defense team in how they responded to Judge Gull's orders. And
to what level it rose, right? To contempt.
Right. Yes.
So what's at stake here? I mean, if let's say the judge says, okay, you're found in contempt, what could that mean?
Well, there's a range of sanctions. So what our contempt laws say is that if it's a civil contempt issue, then the parties can be fined, they can be forced to pay legal fees. This isn't really a civil issue that we're talking about. So the penalties here could range from a fine or imprisonment, or the statute says whatever the judge deems appropriate.
And the likelihood of them being behind bars is pretty small, I would say.
Pretty unlikely, yes.
So at the end of the day, this is yet another hearing about fighting between the prosecutor and the defense. Meanwhile, we've got the trial that has been moved up from October to May. Why this hearing now? Does it not take away from trial prep, or is this just part of the process?
I would think it takes away from the trial preparation resources of each side. And if you read into the defense motions related to the issue, that's exactly what they're saying. They've been filing motions to continue over the last couple of weeks. And it's not because they just want to delay these proceedings. What they're telling this court is, Your Honor, we understand that the state has raised this. However, there are more pertinent issues at the forefront right now in terms of getting this case ready for trial. And so absolutely, it is absolutely taken away from trial preparation resources.
All right, well, clearly the judge saw the need to go ahead and hold this case, so we'll find out soon, or I guess in the next couple of weeks anyway, what she had to say and the reasons for going and holding that hearing now. Katie, thank you very much. We're going to hear more from you coming up at 5 and 6 on some of the other significant issues from today's hearings. And don't forget, you can follow along all of the developments in this case, the legal battles within this case, along with the investigation into the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. Just scan the QR code on your screen or head to WTHR.com/Delphi.